Hello there, welcome back to Jennie Designs with Paper and happy World Card Making Day. Come with me as I celebrate by creating 8 cards with 1 pad of paper and some stickers. So get comfy and let's get crafty. This is the pad of paper I'm going to be using. This is one I purchased from Hobby Lobby this Christmas, and each paper in here is 8.5 by 11 inches. I used one of each of the pattern papers except for the one that has a bunch of words on it. And I picked up this pack of stickers because if you do not have stamp sets, a die cut machine, or whatever, stickers are a great way of making the sentiment for your card. And this is the paper I did not use. So I'm also using card sketches today, and all of the sketches that I'm using are from the Freshly Made blog. And the first card we're going to make is this card right here. So you can see that it is a landscape style card, and this is the only one today that I did make landscape. I have pre-cut all the paper down, and I've added all the measurements onto the screen in case you're wondering what was going on, what size everything was. I'm also using pre-cut and pre-scored card bases that I purchased on Amazon. You can get them just about anywhere, or you can just take a sheet of cardstock and cut it in half and fold it in half. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. None of this requires anything fancy. All of my card bases are 5.5 by 4.25 inches. That is a standard US A2 size card. On this first card, this pattern paper with the gingerbread houses happens to be 5.25 inches by 4 inches. So it's 5.25 wide and 4 inches tall. The green pattern paper that I'm putting on the bottom is the next pattern paper from this stack. And this green pattern paper is 5.25 by 1 inch. The next part of this, I forgot what was next. Oh, the little brown strip of paper. So to cover up any, lack of straight cutting, and also to make the seam between the pattern papers look nice, there's a little piece of brown cardstock, and this little cardstock is 4 inches or 5.25 inches wide by about 1/2 inch tall. The fourth step to this card sketch was actually this little piece of paper. I'm taking it another shade of green, and I'm going to center it right here in the middle, and this is 4 inches wide by 1 inch tall, and this is where I'm going to kind of place our sentiment sticker. So the card sketches can be used in any way you want. I could have done this with all cardstock and no pattern paper. What I did find was that those gold stickers did not really show up on the pattern paper very well, so I cut out a circle, and the circle is about 2 1/8 inch in diameter. So I'm going to slip that circle underneath the stripe there and add my sentiment there. Card sketches can be interpreted as strictly or as loosely as you want to interpret them. I'm also going to take the stickers, that are the little star stickers that came with our sentiment, and I'm going to add them. Okay, next card base, or next card sketch rather, we're just going to go right ahead. So that shape in the top right corner, I don't have that shape, so I'm going to use a different shape. And if you don't have dies, you don't have to use a shape. Make it a square piece of paper. So starting with our first panel, this is a candy cane paper that is 5.25 by 4 inches, and this will be a top folding portrait style card. No, side folding portrait style card. Sorry. The next layer is a red strip of paper that is 4 inches wide by 1.5 inches tall. And I'm going to put it here to the center-ish. I didn't measure, I just eyeballed. The third step is a green strip of pattern paper, and I'm going to put that at the lower end of that red strip. And then the shape I chose to use instead of the one on the sketch was this hexagon. It's about 2.5 inches at its widest points. But again, you can do a square. You can, if you don't have dies or whatever, punches, whatever, just make a square. Like I said, card sketches are as loosely interpreted as you want them to be. It's really a place to get your brain going, not so much of a strict order of operation. I am again adding some stars to this from the sticker set to our sentiment, and that is card number 2. Card number 3 was a little bit interesting, and you can see here it's color blocking. On my card, I did leave a little bit of a gap so that it looks like the pattern paper pieces are matted. So the first thing I'm doing is putting down a piece of blue cardstock, and this is my 5.25 by 4 inches. It's the next, it's 1/4 inch down from the standard card size. And then I'm going to lay out my pattern paper pieces. Wowzer, that was rough. Just to make sure that I have cut them properly. The bottom, the tree paper was a little bit smaller than it should have been. That's a cutting error on my part. The pattern paper pieces, the measurements are going to be all on screen. That top one was like 2 1/4 by 3 3/4 or something like that. Sorry. I have it written down, but I put it on the screen. So if you want to see it, go back and look because I knew I would never remember. So you can see that I have not butt up my pattern papers against each other. I've created that matte look. And that top piece for the sentiment is a 2 by 2 inch square. Again, I don't need a die for that. I just cut that on my trimmer. Super easy. I'm just going to go ahead and put our Merry Christmas sticker right there. Card number 4, I think. So this card has a little design at the bottom. That design can be created by scissors, dies, punches, whatever. So I have pulled out 2 pieces of pattern paper. My cutout is more of just a hill than a swoop. But, you know, whatever. It is a guideline. Again, it's a guideline. So the back piece of the pattern paper is that holly paper, or the first layer of our card. And again, that's 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I am adhering everything down with my ATG, my double-sided adhesive. My nutcracker piece is another 1/4 inch down. So it is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And that 3 3/4 inches is at the long end of the paper, not the middle of the cutout. So again, that's an estimate. When I originally cut it, I cut it to be as the same length because I knew I was cutting it off. It was 5 1/2 inches long. So then we put the little belly button or belly band across the bottom, and I am going to lay our sentiment right there. It's not the perfect place for it. I could have added another layer, but I didn't. Next card. Again, we have another color blocking, but this time, well, this was not my favorite because there's no place to put the sentiment on it that looked really great. So the panels down, the blue cardstock is 4 1/4, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then these stripe panels are 2 1/4 by 1 3/4 inches. I think that this would probably have been better if I had made the top panel be a solid piece of cardstock. But I really like this ornament paper, so I just trimmed it down and I went down another dimension. So it's 4 1/4 by 3 inches. And it's a really busy paper. So it doesn't lend well for a landing place for the sentiment. So while I was figuring out where I was going to put that down, I went ahead and adhered this panel to my card base. And you'll notice sometimes I'm assembling right on the card base and sometimes I'm assembling on the panel and then attaching to the card base. It just is what it is. I did just go ahead and put the sticker up there on the top left and then I moved on. So this card has a little scallop edge on that center panel. If you have a die, if you have a punch, great. If you have scissors and want to freehand it, great. If you don't want it to be there, even better. So we're beginning with another card panel. This is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. It's a red cardstock. I think this is a Simon Says Stamp Schoolhouse Red, I think. The next thing I have is my Santa Claus pattern paper, and I'm going to trim I'm going to put adhesive on the bottom of that paper and then line up that piece that I trimmed. And I used an old Stampin' Up! Punch. I don't know what it's called. I don't know if they sell it. Everybody has something in their stash, or they don't because they don't card make every day. And they'll just do it how they want, right? It's my card. I can cry if I want to. I can craft if I want to. I can punch if I want to. Anyway, my panel is a little bit wider and taller than the panel on the card base. I preferred it that way. Again, card sketches are a jumping off point, as literal or as loosely defined as you want it to be. I'm going to go ahead and add our sentiment sticker across that green belly band, and it kind of doesn't lay exactly flat, but it works. Okay, this is card like number 7, I think. Like we're just screaming through these, and this one is a little bit of a different layout as well. So I started with my cardstock panel, this brown paper that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then just as I was about to stick it down, I remembered, oh, this is supposed to have rounded edges. If you do not have a punch, you can eyeball it. You can trace the outline of something circular and then freehand cut it, or you can skip it. It is what it is. The gingerbread man paper, I had forgotten what the measurements were, so I had to measure it right there. The gingerbread man paper goes on after the red strip. I'm glad I noticed that before I glued it down. The red strip is 5.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch. I did not trim it down before I adhered it because I wanted it to go right to that edge. And then the gingerbread man paper is 4.25 by 3 inches. And this one goes on just a little bit sideways and takes up the majority of that brown cardstock. Now, the star, again, if you don't have star die cuts, no biggie. Make a square, make a circle. This one's about 2.5 inches. It is in the sketch right on that belly band. I moved it up just a little bit. My preference. I think it looked better up there. I also think it probably would have looked better in the brown, but then you would not have been able to see our Merry Christmas sticker as well. I took some of these gold stickers and I just added 3 of them to the background of this card. Kind of like I would if I was using flat back pearls or sequins or anything like that. Last card. So this one has a big circle on it and then a couple. So this could have been a card panel with just a circle and a strip of pattern paper and the strip across it. It could also be 2 different colors of pattern paper or 2 different colors of cardstock. There's a lot of ways you could have interpreted this card base, or this card sketch rather. I chose to put down a panel that was 5.25 by 4 inches. And then this panel here, it should have been smaller than 2.5 inches. I will be completely honest. It is 4 inches wide by 2.5 inches. The circle is about 3 3/8. Also, I think it would have been better a little bit shorter, and this is why I got it all put down. Went to put this little belly band strip on, and in order to go at the bottom of the circle and not have the circle hang out, yeah, it was it was an experiment. So I lined my belly band piece strip up there with the top of my pattern paper, and I held it in place with my left hand and then slipped that circle in, and it has to go just barely at the bottom of that back panel of paper, but it works. And then I stuck our Merry Christmas sticker right on that green circle, and it works, right? So these are the kind of mass-produced cards that I usually make for my kids to take to school for their teachers, because there's lots of space inside for them to write a note, and it's really easy to make them a whole bunch at one time. I hope you enjoyed our World Card Making Day video. I have a couple of other videos here I think you would like as well. I've also added that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you did. Leave me a comment down below and tell me how you mass produce your cards. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and have a really great day.